I had a few beers and I rode home and I felt compelled to record something for you. So I don't know if you're aware, but I saw an AI video from Google yesterday, and it sort of shocked me in how increasingly better they're getting. Like, it's not slowing down at all, not plateauing in the way that I expected it to. But what I would like to say, what I would have been thinking about is how, some mediums are always better at creating a certain thing than others. So if we take the AI, somewhere in the latent space of all the parameters that go into the model, maybe there exists within those parameters what is happening right now on screen. But there is always an easier way to make what's happening right now, and that is by using the things that are happening right now. Like, for the creation of this video, I am using the latent space of the parameters of the world. And it's hard to compete with the complexity of those parameters, because embedded in it is the history of the universe. All these things originate from a single universal source. And that's not to say that the models, the video models, the AI video models, don't also have that original source inside them. But it's not direct contact. It's not direct contact with the parameters of the world. Like, if you imagine that there is an alternate universe where the Ghibli films, the Studio Ghibli films, haven't been created by a person, but there is a technology that develops that can generate them frame for frame, perfect recreation, but having never touched a human's hands, never having made contact with the material world except through the latent space of a model, an AI model. Would it contain the same value? And I guess, if you're maybe looking at it from a materialist perspective, then no. If it exists, it exists. But you can extend that materialism to the creation of it. You can say that it's important for the thing to have come into contact with the world. It's like, what part of the universe are you exposing to the medium? Like, we use technology to represent things. This video is a result of a technology. And there is a certain amount of parameters that are expressing it through the voltage of the sensors and the color values stored in the camera. And that is shared with the AI models, but if you imagine the parameters of the machine learning model as a kind of sensor, you have all these parameters and you're exposing them to the world in the form of already quantized images, videos, text. It is a facsimile of a facsimile. Like, it's the sensory part of the model is coming into contact with something that is already one layer removed from the source material of the universe, because you have to have quantized it, fed it into the model, which itself is a kind of sensor that absorbs the information. Whereas this sensor is exposed to the same material that I believe my senses are exposed to as a human. And maybe that makes it important or different. This is an argument from an essence of art or a spirit of art, not from a purely sort of art in a vacuum, images in a vacuum perspective. But do you see what I mean? Like, it's easier for me to make this by doing this, by recording it. Even if this exists somewhere in the parameters of a model, if you were to configure it perfectly to recreate this, it is still easier to do it this way, because the parameters of the world and of my life and of the universe are already set up to record this. And what those parameters represent is a history of me and the objects around me and the technology being used to record it. Because if we look at that medium as the message theory, what that also implies is that the medium biases towards a certain kind of thing, that it is always easier to make one thing than it is the other. And it is easiest for me to create this by doing it this way, because it represents something that is already in place in the universe and does not have to be recreated using complex parameters. Well, it does have to, like I was saying, the parameters to create this are complex because they are everything. And my little slice of it